Nigga acts about me, nigga acts about me, nigga acts about me, nigga acts.
What up, y'all? This is Leslie Conscious, and I'm back with another video. So this week's topic, we're going to talk about the situation with this guy. He was approached at the club by two women, and he says he thought he was about to have a threesome, but they approached him to be a donor. Knowing that up front, he agreed to it. They told him they would pay him $7K, and come to find out, the couple lets him know that they're having a girl, and he has a change of heart. He doesn't want to be a donor anymore. He wants to be a dad. But I'm going to let the guy speak for himself, and we're going to get into this.
Look into the text messages. Like, she wasn't nasty at first. It was one point in the messages I was like, hello, because she stopped texting me, and I think that her and her girl got into it, and then that's when she got nasty with me. So now we here. We at the point where I'm like, oh, we're gonna go to court, whatever. It is what it is. You know, I'm not beat, but like how we get to a point in society where we think that a child don't deserve their father in their life. Like how we get to a point in society where, okay, I get the donor situation. You ain't go to a sperm bank. You met me in a club, then talked to me every day, and then kept me abreast on everything that was going on. It's not like it was just a situation where, you know, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, never talk to me again. No, you kept in contact. You kept doing this. So now when I feel away and you show me a sonogram of my seed, a girl that I want, nah, of course I'm gonna feel away. But yeah, y'all do with that information what y'all will.
Alright, so y'all just watched that video, and I got a lot to say about this. If you watched any of my videos before, like I said, I'm passionate about gay couples having children, and I feel like your sexuality should not keep you from having children if that's what you want to do. With that being said, with that privilege of planning and with that choice, because a lot of straight people, most straight people, they don't plan their pregnancies, they end up pregnant. So by gay couples having to plan pregnancies, that gives us another advantage, and an advantage that we should take advantage of. When you got the opportunity to plan a pregnancy, you can never 100% prepare for a baby, because at the end of the day, you never know what you're going to get. You never know that child's personality. You never know how your mindset is going to be once you become a parent. And you never know if that child may come with some intellectual or physical disabilities. You just never know. However, if you have the privilege of planning a baby, it's certain things that you can do that will give your baby the best life possible. The way this couple went about finding a sperm donor and trying to create life was so sloppy. And I don't even want to judge them because I don't know them personally. But if this is any indication of how you are going to continue with motherhood, you need to slow down and realize what you're doing, because you already set your child up. By your failure to plan, you got a man that you don't know who has rights to this child. And like he said, he intends to take you to court for visitation. And I can't fathom why a couple that had $7K would just drop it on a random donor. Insemination is expensive, but if you want to do a home insemination, even if you want to go to a bank, $7K is more than enough. And especially if you got insurance, $7K is more than enough to do what you need to do for at least 2 cycles. It's certain days of the week where different sperm banks, they ship for a fraction of the price. There's so much information out there. And I'm going to pass on a lot of that information as well when I get my subscribers up. Get me to 50 subscribers, I can start going live. And that's when I'm going to really start my Trying to Conceive series. But I'm going to call this video 1 of my Trying to Conceive series, because there's a lot wrong with the situation. I would say the hardest part about wanting to conceive when you're a lesbian is finding a sperm donor. I've done it, and that was by far for me the hardest part. And it's certain things that you want to look for when you get a donor. From jump, you want to make sure that donor has a child and he has also donated before. You don't want to be a man's introduction to the whole donor process. You also want to make sure all parties are comfortable with the means of insemination. It's 3 types of inseminations out here. You can do AI, which is artificial insemination, which is absolutely zero, no penetration. You can do PI, which is partial insemination. That's when you get close to a certain point and a guy penetrates you and y'all inseminate that way. And then you got what people like to call the natural way, where you just have heterosexual sex from beginning to end in hopes of conception. By y'all saying like it wasn't no wham bam thank you ma'am, that gave me the impression that they actually did have sex. If you listen to what he said, he's like, well, you kept me informed of everything, it wasn't just like this, which means y'all had sex. And I might be jaded, but it's very hard for me sometimes to take black men seriously when it comes to fatherhood. And you sit up here and you cap and like, how did we get to the point where the world didn't need a father? You decided to donate. You weren't thinking about that child having a father, just like most black men are. You were being sexually irresponsible. And the second thing you want to have when finding a donor, I don't care if you do AI, PI, NI, you need to see that paperwork. You need to see medical paperwork that they are disease free. And if you're using a sperm bank, you should also give yourself the extra advantage of doing genetic testing. I think most banks offer it at an extra $100 fee. And then like I'm a person where I really take in a lot of verbiage, and everybody is not as articulate as the next person, but it's just the way he like, oh, of course I'm gonna feel away. You want your child, but you even real casual in the way you're expressing yourself. And then the child is a child. What makes it a difference if it's a girl or a boy? And then it's so funny that the only time his energy really spiked up, the only time he sounded passionate to me, tell me if I'm wrong, is when he was talking about that woman. He like, no, you met me in the club. You met me. And he's like, yeah, you talk to me every day. It sounds like you might have caught feelings for this chick. And now you're playing a father card to still have access and still have some type of communication. That way, if something happened, you could have a way in. And then did y'all also catch how his voice dropped when he was like, yeah, you was doing it every day? What was she doing every day? I don't know if he was trying to save face and like, you know, give a little subliminal to the shorty, like, you know, we was doing every day behind closed doors, or if even the girlfriend knew they was doing it every day just to increase the odds of conception. If you're using a fresh sample, you do not need to do it every day. If you time it right, once is enough and twice is extra insurance. Both times I conceived back to back, we only were able to do it once that cycle. You don't got to keep doing it every day or any of that. You just got to get your timing and your dates right. It's definitely coming off like he just wants an attachment to this woman. And now for the girlfriend, you didn't put your girl in a situation where she has to communicate with somebody that she had sex with, that she had a sexual relationship with. This is so messy. So if it was a son, you wouldn't be that pressed because you probably have a couple other sons. If you wanted a daughter that bad, why aren't you out here trying to meet a woman and build a family with her and have more kids to get that daughter? I feel like this is another case of black men weaponizing childhood against women. And these women set themselves up for that shit. All three of these adults put themselves in a position where they disenfranchise this child. And straight people and gay people need to stop being so casual about having children and claiming children. You got heterosexual people out here making kids like it's a sport. You got women out here getting pregnant, finding a dom, making her be responsible for the child. Next thing you know, she taking the child from you, cutting off all access when a relationship go awry. And that's not just the feminist fault. Doms, we gotta stop doing that shit. Most of the women in our community do come with children, but a lot of them don't. It's certain things you need to look out for. If you're dealing with a woman and she has a child, and I'm gonna kick it to you, if that child is under 5 years old, don't mess with her. Most likely, her and whoever she had the child with, whether it be man or female, most if she had a child with a dude, they still working out their co-parenting situation. And definitely, if you get with somebody with a 2, 3 older and all that, hell no. If you decide to date somebody with a child and want to step up and do for that child, make sure that person has a healthy co-parenting relationship with the person they had the child with. And to the femmes out here, don't let no dom put you in a situation where she gonna ask you to even lay down with a man because she want a baby. Because if you want a baby that bad, you lay down with this man. And I don't really see nothing too much now that I'm older. And like I said in previous videos, shouts out to my community, because most of us, when we have children, we're married, we're in stable households, we trying to give our children what we never had. And the world is still getting used to and accepting families that look like us. When you're gay and you decide to have a child, whether you're a gay man or a lesbian, you need to make sure that foundation, where that child comes from, is solid. Because when they go to school and they say they got two moms or they got two dads and they don't have that foundation, they going to come home with those issues and they're going to look at your home life and it's going to make them feel like they're inadequate. The extra protection that we can give them is coming from a stable household. And I firmly believe that. And no, everybody's not perfect. And you're going to make mistakes. But as a parent, you got to make sure your kids know where they come from. And you got to shield them from any bullshit they might hear from anybody else. Because a family member be quick to tell them something or make a sly remark when you're not around. Or they're going to go to school and their peers going to ask certain questions. And you got to arm your children with the security to be able to combat that. And did y'all catch when he was like, oh, I guess her and her girl was arguing or something, like trying to insinuate that he was coming between them? And we know how men is or something. He could have texted her on some other shit and all that. And then, lo and behold, he might not even been texting the femme. He could have been texting the dom the whole time. And I'm not even going to say if you have a known donor or a fresh donor that you found and you did AI that you shouldn't keep in contact with him, because unfortunately something could happen. You could get pregnant. Like the first time me and my wife inseminated, we had a chemical pregnancy and we had to inseminate the next cycle. But it's definitely a line. Like sending that little sonogram picture, like that was OD. I'm going to post the text thread right here. The couple, those ladies, they messed up and now they got themselves in a situation where you got to give a little girl to somebody and you don't know their family, you don't know what type of person people they going to be around, you don't know what type of danger they going to be in because you did not vet them. You had no paperwork in place, you didn't get a family lawyer, and then you got your girl in a situation where she going to sign that birth certificate, but if he take her to court, that shit gonna crush her because by law, she gotta come off, he's going on it. And sad to say, that this probably gonna be the death of y'all relationship. I know as lesbians, we get to a certain point where we really want children and we feel that maternalness kicking in. We want to share that love, or we're in a relationship and we just want to have a child and raise a family with our partners. However, don't make a move that's serious as creating life or even laying down with somebody, because you could lay down with somebody and it could not work. And that's another thing too, like conceiving is so crazy. Like I don't know if they tracked Shorty's periods and went out that night looking for somebody and grabbed him, because he has a lesbian aesthetic, so they probably deemed him attractive enough to be a suitable donor. He probably looked like the girlfriend. And if they did, that's crazy, because that man was really preyed upon, even though he was a willing participant. And then some stuff be so crazy in our community. Some women and femmes, y'all might hate me for this, some femmes will use that excuse as a dom wanting a baby to go out here and do some shit that she always been wanting to do. So who knows if it was just one time that she done slept with this man or what, or how they was really getting down. The story really don't add up to me. Like I feel like it's way more to the story. But really the point of this video is all parties were dead wrong. And like I said, with planning comes privilege. If you got the opportunity to plan something, you pick, and something as special as conceiving a child, you want to pick the best of the best. The best donor, the best scenario. You want to have it done the best way. All that. You don't want to make that decision on the back end. You don't want to just be like, oh, damn. Oh, I'm drunk enough tonight. We've been talking on and off for a baby. Oh, he look like you over there. Let's go get him. Let's approach him. Or don't get a situation where a woman is already pregnant or has a young child and you decide to come in and be that parent. And that's a noble thing to do, but you shouldn't do it because that woman's emotional state is so up and down. Having a baby really takes a lot out of you. Raising a baby takes a lot of you out of you. Co-parenting takes a lot out of you. You want to make sure you have the strongest foundation possible because at the end of the day, if you don't, it's just going to negatively affect that child. The black community has become so sexually irresponsible and so casual with how we conceive children, how we bring souls here. It's got so bad that sexuality, it didn't escape the parameters of sexuality. And then for this guy to say he doesn't know how society got so far removed from children not deserving to have fathers, man, you know how. For some reason, black men in large have not proven themselves to be valuable fathers. And that's not in an individual sense. There's some good fathers out here, but as a community, nah, it's not enough of y'all. The majority of black fathers are not up to par. Y'all struggle with fatherhood. And y'all seem to only show interest in the child when y'all want to show interest into the mother. Which kind of brings me back to my black sperm donor shortage video. Black men are so far removed from how they conceive their children, they can't fathom the selfless act of donating. They can't fathom having a children with a woman without still having access to that woman. Which is why a lot of us prefer donors from a different ethnicity, because unfortunately, black heterosexual women, y'all lay down with these men, y'all gotta deal with this shit. We are not intimately involved with these men, and when it comes to having kids, we don't gotta deal with this shit, with that shit, and most of us don't want to. Most of the time, you ask black men to donate, they're either gonna want to have sex with you, or they just say no because they wouldn't want a kid out here in the world that they would have no connection to, that they can't see. And like I said, I can get with that, but like this man, he said it on the back end. You wasn't worried about not having no connection to that child when you were making that child. And if that was really your stance wholeheartedly, you wouldn't have did it. You would have been one of them men's like, nah, you know, thank you for the compliment, but nah, that's not really for me. I'm not really with that. All three of y'all got what y'all got, and y'all gonna get what y'all gonna get, and it's fucked up because that baby gotta suffer. And sad to say, the non-biological parent, she's gonna suffer as well. She in for a big world of just a big ass mess. She's never gonna be able to enjoy that baby without that fear of somebody coming and taking it. And my heart goes out to her because that shit gonna crush her. Alright, y'all, so I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers so I can go live and I can really get into this trying to conceive content. I want to teach y'all how to track y'all menstrual cycles. I want to get into the hormonal phase. I want to tell you what a luteal phase is. I want to tell you about your follicle stimulating hormone, what has to happen, how your body needs to be in preparation for ovulation. And I got some real knowledge that I'm trying to drop for y'all. I want to teach y'all how to vet a sperm donor. When picking a sperm donor, what the sample was supposed to look like. How to recognize official medical documents. What products to use for home insemination, what sperm banks, if you want to go that route, which ones give you the most information for free. I got all that shit for y'all. Alright, y'all, so let's be safe. Let's be good parents. Let's make good decisions. I'm out. Peace.